Hello, everyone. I'm Marin Rave, and I want to thank you for checking out my Fields of Mistria video today. This is going to be a little different than most of my videos. I've had a few life issues interfering with my attempts to get this live streamed as I originally planned. Then some things popped up while trying to record the video itself. So in the end, consider this a partial condensed commentary. We will speed run in the fast forwarding sense through a lot of this video. It was the kindest way I could still show 5 hours of grinding from level 25 in the mines to level 60s obtaining the sealing scroll. To assist in filling some of the more quiet moments, I did attach some music, so hopefully everyone will at least mostly enjoy that. And later on in the video, I was a bit too focused on the mission, and I did one tiny, itsy bitsy little mistake. Let me know if you make it in far enough to see what happened. And with that, let's go ahead and get started with the game. As you can tell, we are still in year 1. This is, well, hopefully you can tell. This is spring. I know my lights on my layout block that just a little bit. And it doesn't seem like I have it really going too fast that you can't tell what's going on or anything. So I'm at least happy with that. I did look over it once to double check the volumes with the music whenever I combined all of that part of the video. This is actually a separate track I'm using Audacity for, so hopefully I can get it right. It's been a few months since I've used this program, and I think the last one was for Baldur's Gate. So I am a little, at some point, I know I need to get that done. I just have been having a lot of trouble getting into the right headspace and everything to do the voice. Well, not really voice, but the way I play with reading the recap and everything. I like to have fun with it, and I just haven't quite been in the right place to do it lately, which is also why I took a break and I've been switching games here and there. But they're all games I really like, and hopefully you'll enjoy, or if you've never played it before, maybe you might like watching enough to check it out and see what you actually think. As you can tell, there's a couple of days so far I will be kind of running around a little bit like a chicken with my head cut off. Some of it is me just being a goldfish and getting sidetracked. It does happen, and that's probably a good portion of the 5 long grueling hours, which I did not expect it to really take that long. I don't believe on my private farm that it did take that long, but I know there was a few problems I had, like catching the archer fish on the one playthrough, and I seem to have done a lot better on those on this one. But we shall see. Yes. We are in the cavern. I think this is one of my more favorite areas to play around within the mines. Just the colors, the grays and the blues, slightly dull pastels in a way, the green of the mushrooms. I don't know. It just seems like a very relaxing area, even though you've got the chaos of all these little baddies. It did take me a minute. I have been playing, as you could tell from maybe the short I posted recently, a lot of Hightail with my husband since his birthday. He has really enjoyed the game, and I don't know, the controller just seems a little different playing this once I go from the other game. I don't actually know if the mapping in is any different, but I might have to look into that now because I'm curious. Well, not at this second now. I was also trying to keep up with some of the quests on the game, like the museum, and I know I'm behind on upgrading things for the town and different things. My quest log is pretty big at the moment with a lot of simple stuff. Some of it might be seasonal, but I can't remember with some of the fish if it's like Stardew and it's got I believe it does have specific season ones though. Just like I think it has different between freshwater and ocean, and I want to say pond. But again, this is only my second playthrough of the game, and I have by far not finished it on my first. So that I could be wrong. So do forgive me if I make any assumptions or anything that veer a little from the fact. Feel free to let me know in the comments, and I will do my best to correct the flow of information on whatever I happen to create next. Also, definitely would appreciate any legit critique. Is my sound a little off? Is the music too loud or a little too exciting? Or does it give just the right vibe? Like, it would be good to know these kind of things, to know what you guys like in them as much as what I like when I'm creating them. And if I could make something that might hit a little bit more with you guys, I am open to making many attempts within my capabilities and within reason. Mostly I'm just kind of playing around and caught an interest, and am trying to learn how everything works, from OBS to Streamlabs to the difference between a stream and a video and this, and like, just I like learning new things, and this is one of the current I've set my sights on trying to figure out and learn. I'm still a mess when it comes to some of the analytics. I admit that. But at some point. Yes, by the way, I did make sure to slow down the Friday nights. I felt that I really like the Drama and Dragons game that they play. I recently just started a campaign with a few acquaintances and of Dungeons and Dragons, and have been really enjoying it. We are playing it's been, you know, the memes about how it's hard to get everyone together to play weekly sessions and everything. It's true. It's been a couple of weeks since we played. I believe it is Steinhardt's Guide to the Eldritch Hunt. I have a folder I can check for that. Just give me 1 second. I'm pretty sure that that is the one we are doing specifically. Although the DM has adjusted a few things here and there. Yes, Steinhardt's Guide to the Eldritch Hunt. I like to keep track of things, so I have folders for so many different, from cat videos to, which, if you haven't realized, I do have another channel that it's just random videos of things that my 2 cats do, Duncan and Donut. They're both orange boys. It's definitely not professional level or anything. It's just what I can occasionally catch them doing. It makes me laugh, and I hope maybe it'll make someone else smile or laugh when they need it. So just daily little things in play sessions and how they react with new toys or brain puzzles or just different things. Nothing too big or special, but they're my fur babies. I know a lot of my usual subscribers that are from the community know this, though. And also, yeah, actually, no real also. I also apologize if I actually pronounce any of the names of the characters a little weird. Some of them I'm still trying. Most of them are easy, like Dell. You kind of can tell. Maple. But a couple of them I'm not quite sure if I'm saying them right. So do forgive me if I make that mistake and just put it up to me being a backwoods type of peasant. Also, it was brought to my attention by my husband that one of the songs on the playlist does start quiet. I think we're already past the start of that song at this point. I wasn't really paying attention. But I did leave it that way on purpose because if I recall, it will build and I did not want to risk blowing anyone's eardrums out if possible. I don't usually use headphones a lot whenever I'm watching streams or videos or anything, but it was pointed out to me that there can be a big difference in the sound, or I guess in mobile too. So I'm trying to find that happy balance. Most of them, I think, are hitting at about the same place. But just so you know, I know there's like this little tiny area. When I'm watching the video, I have my volume up because I'm partially hard of hearing. So I can tell it's there, maybe because of that, but we'll see. But I liked the song, so I kept it in. I did have a replacement I was debating with, but then I decided to just go with my initial feeling and vibe. So for those of you that do play this game, what are some of your favorite parts? You already know this is one of mine, the Friday night at the inn. And you know why I like it so much. It has Dungeons and Dragon-esque vibe to it. We are actually going to get to the point of leveling a few things up too, which is very, very nice. I should have focused a little bit more on the mining side of things and the fighting aspect, but I will get there. I also wanted some of the buffs because I am cooking some things, so I don't have to spend as much money to take food down into the mines. The more I farm, sometimes the better with some of that. Sometimes you get dishes eventually. Like, the buffs really can be an awesome help. And as you can tell, so far I haven't really worried too much about armor or anything. I haven't had any issues with that. And yes, I know I shouldn't have probably been selling the sapphires and rubies, but money is a little bit of a part, and that's okay. And that's also why this grind ends up taking so very long. But it's worth it. I had so much fun though playing it. It was just a lot of broken snippets of pausing to handle this, or only being able to do this much, or having to mute through here. Which, hey, that's life. Everything is not always perfect in how you want. Sometimes it's a little bit messy, but that keeps it interesting. It doesn't get boring that way. And things usually work out. which is basically how things are turning out. So, for those who, by the way, come pretty regular and pay attention, like listening and everything, I did have my appointment, and we are apparently trying the physical therapy route first. There's an MRI I have to get again, and in a couple of months we are going to do another nerve test. So hopefully the muscles will start acting how they're supposed to help hold everything with my shoulder blade how it should be to work it, and it'll relieve some pressure off of that nerve. That is the goal, at least, and like I said, we're giving it a couple of months according to my orthopedic surgeon. And then after that, if there's still damage, we'll have to talk a little more serious. But part of me is a little bit relieved that they think it might still be at a level that this might repair, so that I can get back to doing a lot of everyday things that, even things I weren't my favorites to do, so to speak. I miss being able to do it, you know? When you have something that causes so much pain that you can't quite even lift your cat sometimes. And okay, granted, Duncan, yes, is a little on the chunky side. I admit it. We've been working on trying to get him to quit stealing so much of his brother's food, but his brother lets him, even when we separate and everything. And stand guard. Somehow he's still, I don't know. But Donut, on the other hand, is a little more slender and slinky and boneless-ish, like he's a wriggly one. But he's a lot lighter, and even some days I can't pick him up or hold him. Doing dishes, not my favorite thing, but I can't do them, and I would love to be able to do a whole sink full and not regret it for 2 days or more afterwards. It's odd, the things that you actually end up missing when you cannot do them, even though you didn't like to do them to begin with. But I realized the other day, me and my son were goofing around, and I'm short. He is not. He has long legs. His mother does not. My husband likes to jokingly call me Pikachu quite frequently because of this. But I was chasing after him, and it jarred my shoulder so bad. And it was just like, wow, I can't even really have fun with my kid, you know? I mean, granted, he's 17. He's not a little thing anymore. But still, when there's those moments where he kind of acts like he's still my little boy, and then I find I can't really interact the way I would like, it hits a certain place. The same, my husband and I used to go for drives and stuff. Keep in mind, like I've joked, it's not a joke though, I live rural, and the roads are usually not that great. They're not very well kept, especially in our county. It is not one of the closer to the capital of the state. So we're often not thought about as much, especially with a lot of the closures like Weirton Steel Mill and stuff like that nearby and everything. And like everywhere, a lot of the mills have been closing in this area all over. But the roads suck. There are potholes all over. They take the cheapest bids, I swear. That's the only way they should still be this crappy. But it does not feel good when we can't miss them and he hits one and as much as he tries to do it as easy as he can for me. Again, it jars it pretty good some days. So there's a lot of stuff that I don't quite do with him either anymore. That I need this stupid shoulder to be fixed, or at least the pain lowered, so that I can enjoy my quality of life, so to speak. And not feel so much like a failure sometimes. Maybe not quite failure, but like I said, when you're used to being able to do things and then you can't, and the more you try to fix things and they don't get fixed, and it just creates kind of like this loop, and it can make it a little hard sometimes. That's another reason I got into deciding to stream and everything, was to help keep my mind busy so I didn't dwell. I started out just watching videos, and randomly one day I came across Lisette, who I believe is Lissetti Rossetti is her actual name on YouTube. I do have her on one of my previous, I think the first Field of Mistria stream I did a shout out in the description. So if you jump to that, you can easily see who I mean. And I do think she is also on my featured list. Definitely check her out. But it was her first playthrough of Stardew. And I had been playing again, trying on my current main farm to reach perfection, and I was like, it would be nice to see a fresh take on it, someone who hadn't played, And yes, I know I say that phrase a lot, And I just really liked her vibe. She was fun, and through her I met Aurelius and Poppy and Dan and a whole slew of other creators and community members, and they are all just so amazing and so nice and so welcoming, and it kind of gave me a little breath of fresh air, and they're very welcoming too. It made me feel good to be a little bit of a part of something. And they've been helping guide me and showing up to random streams and leaving random community messages and everything. And they're just so optimistic and positive, and the vibe is just amazing. So definitely please go check out King Aurelius and Poppy Plays and so many more of the community. Pure Chaos, she's fantastic as well. Like, definitely shout outs. Jordan's Den, Co-Clementine. Clem is, she's a riot. If you definitely want to laugh, I would definitely join there. Poppy too, she's really amazing as well. And I've had so many laughs with her and her husband, and it's really great. Even if you're a streamer starting out or something, find your people, You find your people, and then more people find you, so to speak. And it's usually the right type of people. I don't remember where I heard that, but I kind of like to live by some advice and sayings here and there that I hear throughout the years. But I definitely got to give love to some of my friends and everything. They deserve it, and Poppy is almost to 1K, guys. Last I looked. If that has changed since then, please disregard, but still, check her out, subscribe. Let's get her to 1K before the goal I set, which I'm not mentioning on here just yet. I'm not quite to that comfort level, but they know it. And I will just say, don't go as far as the Ides of March. That's the only hint I will give. Do not go that long. And Lisette as well, we are trying really, really hard to get her to 500 so she can get her membies. I didn't set an official date for hers though. But I feel she's gonna get there no later than the end of this year. Like, I really think it'll be sometime over this summer by my prediction, and we'll see if that comes true. That's my hope anyway for her. Just a few more months and she will be there. She does a lot of cozy games as well. Poppy is a little bit retro and current, depending, from Animal Crossing on. Pure Chaos K does a little mix. She doesn't go too after dark, but she does go a little back and forth, and she has some fantastic streams. Crispy Sense is another one I recommend highly checking out. Cryo Noir is another one. Jordan's Den, like I said. There's so many, and I know I am forgetting some people. Please do not take it to heart. I am not meaning it that way. Or anything, or putting like ranking or anything. Those are just some of the ones that pop to mind the most. Crispy is pretty family friendly with his channel. He's everything from I believe it's Core Keepers to Baldur's Gate 3 to, oh, what else? Hightail is really big right now as well. So definitely check out the people I mentioned if anything of mine has piqued your curiosity. I will tell you they do a far better job than I do. There's a reason a lot of them are hitting their goals this year, or will hit their goals. From the way they edit to the way they are far better than me, in my opinion, with speaking. Just a lot of it. And I've been rambling, yes. Apparently today I am feeling a little bit chatty, at least to a point. I did make sure to alert my husband and everything, so I shouldn't have too much pop up unless there is some emergency to mess with us too much or distract me too much, depending. I do need to switch things on my mobile though, I just realized. There we go. That could be why I wasn't getting some of my notifications. I was on the wrong channel, like I tend to do. But I have come to the conclusion it is not always my fault. Originally, I thought it was, that I was messing something up, but even when I switch to a specific channel and then go to a stream, it is still putting me on the opposite channel. So that's actually kind of part of how it came out that I had two channels. I originally started with my cat one, just like I said, something to do, something to create, something to help me stay positive as I could. All of that. And then I started the gaming one, and I wanted to use it to give an extra like and everything to Kay's channel, I believe, was the first one. It was either Kay or Jordan's Den, but one of them. Because I did it to both of them to give them a little extra bump, you know? And to start watching them a little more on that. And then I didn't have a choice. I was gifted memberships to both channels. And I'm gonna admit it, the emojis that get unlocked are so cute. I mean, come on. I couldn't help myself. I wanted to keep them. So I eventually had to let it slip so that people knew who I was, since I was already established watching them. And yeah, so it came out, and it's kind of a joke. But secrets don't usually last too long, and that's okay. I'm quite content having both and being known on both. But if anyone ever wants to check out the boys, like I said, Duncan and Donut, they are, you can tell from the channel or the thumbnails, it's pretty easily stated. They are two orange boys, and definitely one has the brain cell far more than the other. I think it's because he has more white on him, so I guess he's more of a creamsicle than a ginger full out, but that could definitely be it. He's had a better time with the puzzle games and everything. Yes, I did pit them against each other. It was right after Christmas. Donut ended up finding the most treats within until I cut it off when he started to get bored. I think it was about 5 minutes. And Duncan basically did the complete opposite numbers as his brother. Just flip them around. Oh, but I would not trade them. Not for anything in the world. I feel they definitely, when we adopted them, picked us as much as we picked them. When we first went in to look at them, we had moved in next door to my dad when he was diagnosed with cancer. It took us probably 6 months to find a place close enough, and then we got lucky. Right next door opened up, and the landlord made a deal with us. If we cleaned up ourselves from the previous tenants, we could move in as soon as it was ready. And plus they were going on a vacation, I believe, with their grandchild, so it was a way to kind of move things along quickly, which I appreciate so much. I don't think they will ever know how much. Originally, my grandmother owned this area, and it's Dad's kind of grandfathered in, so to speak. But we moved in, and I realized we were even further away from the little town, any of them actually, and Kiddo didn't have too many friends that were close and stuff. His father and I at the time were gone at least 12-13 hours a day, driving to get to work, working 10 to 12 hour shifts, coming back 40-minute drive. We thought he would be lonely, and all he really had was his pap next door for company, and he helped with meals and making sure my dad was taken care of while I worked a little with the basic stuff. Like, I generally had stuff cooked and he would just have to heat it up, you know. But I wanted him to have some company, and I didn't feel where we lived was big enough for a dog. I've always been more of a dog person. Not that I don't like cats, I do, but I've always liked dogs a little bit more. Well, I also wasn't sure with Kiddo being in school and us being away so much, we could give the dog the type of attention and everything it actually deserved. So we decided we were going to go to the local pound and adopt a cat, not a kitten. We wanted to adopt an adult because we know they are a bit harder. Everyone wants a kitten or a puppy, you know, they're cute, they're little. People don't realize, I don't think, or just think what they grow into. But we went in and we were looking at a few, and there was a few I had saw on the Facebook page, and we came across these two oranges. One of them was a little sick, but when we approached the cage, Duncan, who's the younger one, put his little arm around his brother and looked at us just like we're a package deal, lady. You take one, you take the other. And it melted my husband's heart and mine both. So they are brothers, just not litter mates. And they are also two already bonded and everything, so it made everything so easy bringing them both. Like I said, one, when we adopted them, Donut was a little over a year old, and Duncan was around 8 to 9 months, judging from his teeth and everything, the amount of wear and decay and all that. I'm not exactly sure what brought them to the pound. If they told me, I didn't really listen. I was too enthralled, especially because Duncan likes to be held like a baby on your shoulder and patted, just like you would a baby. And then he just lays against you like that and then drools, worse than a St. Bernard. And I don't know why, but it was so endearing. I couldn't deal with it, so we have both. And they have definitely changed our lives for the better, I feel, in so many ways. So many ways. Dawn is a bit skittish. He's definitely the jumpier one of the two. He also is the larger one, and not by weight, mind you, but build. He has more of a panther face than a domestic cat face. At least when you compare him to his brother, it's like he has the more profound jaw structure and everything, where his brother is a little bit more fine-boned, maybe, in his build. But Donut we also call Don, the Don, as in a mafia boss, or Sir Donald. Unless he frustrates me, then it's Donald Elizabeth, because my husband got me started. He came across a YouTuber who has a horse, and whenever she's frustrated, the horse is Chicken Elizabeth Nuggets, and I don't know why, but it stuck with me and became a thing for our cats as well. Just don't ask, it's a family, joke. But he's also like a snake. If he wants to wriggle free or something, he will. He's very, very flexible. And then you have Duncan, who is very tenacious and headstrong. When he wants pet, he will keep butting his head against you or getting in your way until he gets his pets, even if you move him. Which is why sometimes my gameplay is affected when he decides to jump up and join. I know I need to get the cat cam set up. I am working on it. Just my shoulder hasn't let me rearrange, and even using Sims 4 to help show how I would like to rearrange the room, somehow it doesn't quite compute, and I can't always get everyone feeling good enough on the same day to assist me in getting it done. So for right now, it's awkward, and the cam I thought I was getting was not the one that I actually got. It's the one that I had marked, but I think it was one that I had wanted previously and just didn't remove from my list. So that's on me. But it was supposed to be Bluetooth or something like that, but the husband did say he had figured something out. I think it has to do with his Raspberry Pi or something. I don't know. I'm not very technically smart. I can kind of wing my way through the basics, but that's about it with me. My brain does not record that type of information and keep it like it does books or music or even anatomy and physiology. I think it's maybe some kind of a right brain, left thing kind of deal. Who knows? But yeah, the boys definitely, I know, have brought some smiles to some of my gaming community members' faces, and that makes me happy with them. They are such sweet boys. They are just the perfect mix of playful and ornery versus just lazy, and yet they're not completely independent. They are okay with being picked up and held. Well, Don's in the middle. He likes it, but usually it's on his terms. But it also depends on who. If it's anyone from the household, he'll let you hold him for at least a couple minutes, and then he'll let you know, hey, put me down. Like, he won't freak out or anything unless you aren't paying attention and hold him a little longer than he would like. But my husband especially, he likes being on his shoulder like a parrot and just rides. Or what are they called? Used to be called a mink stole. Like that. It's not really a scarf, but it's like a wrap. But yeah, he likes to do that. And he has very big paws with very big claws. So definitely it helps if you have a coat on with him. Otherwise you're going to have some pinpricks as he's happy pawing you. And that's all he's doing. He's not being mean. He's just dangerous with his claws. With us being rural, I'm not going to have... I don't really believe in having the cat's claws removed or anything anyway. I am against that, to be honest. I've debated on trying to trim them a little or file them just so they're not as painful on a human. But they can still climb and this and that, but we're just letting them go. They're not doing anything to the furniture, they're not doing anything to the carpet itself or anything to the walls. Like, there's no real reason, so I don't even want to try to trim them back a little bit unless it becomes like an issue with them being unable to jump or up on something because they get too long or something. Then yes, we'll handle that. But so far they keep them pretty much as they should with the million scratching posts we keep available. They do use them very well. Like, I don't know if the home they came from, they were just that well adjusted and trained, or they just know what to do. But they're amazing. And I just realized I've been talking for almost 45 minutes straight. Wow. That has got to be a new record. I am naturally an introvert. Well, I have my moments of being an extrovert, but they are so draining. I can fake it with the best of them if I need to. Like, face to face. That's the only way I was able to do the type of jobs throughout my life I've been able to do. But I can only do it in small doses, so to speak. It's hard to always be polite. Not that I don't try my best on a daily to be with everyone. I do. That's the way I was raised, manners, etc. but it just takes a lot out whenever there's people you really just want to go away from and you can't. So you still got to keep the face to keep the peace so that there isn't drama, because really, who wants work drama? At least if it involves you. Most of the work drama, though, is petty, mean BS, and I prefer to stay out of that and just keep to myself usually. Although I do miss work, especially my last job. And not to be confused, my last job was not the one that I was injured at. I was injured and treated wrongly, and then my previous actual job is the one that took me in when I was still hurt, until I couldn't perform duties anymore. I couldn't lift the required amounts, I couldn't reach to do what needed, reached from shelves and so forth, and it was causing a lot of pain, which they did tell me is I'm healed, I am more than welcome back. That's still the case. After some other stuff, they also took care of my husband and everything. Like, really appreciate that establishment, that company, more than they might ever know. It's good to have friends, but we weren't, like, I wasn't hired because I was a friend. The thing is, where we worked, the other establishments, managers and stuff, pay attention. They watch you while you're doing your job, because there's nowhere, well, it depends on what place you're at there, but it can be a little, it's very gossipy, we'll just put it that way. And they do pay attention, like other places, to your work ethic and stuff. And if they can, if they have a reason, because there is you're not supposed to snipe from other companies, like there is a unsaid rule about that. But beyond that, if someone's getting relieved, it's okay to take them in. And they knew what was going on. They knew I wasn't being treated fair, that I was a hard worker. I would go above and beyond. I would help other people. I was a team player. It's the way I was raised. Like, even though it hurt, I did my best to work through and get my job completed. There was only a couple of tasks at the end I couldn't do anymore. Like, physically could not actually do. And they still treated me very well overall. There was always, one or two people that didn't like this or didn't like that. You're always going to have catty people no matter where in life. It's always going to be just another variation of high school. But sometimes you learn how to navigate it, at least to where you can be your own person and possibly succeed. You don't rely on, well, not really rely, but you don't pay as much attention to that anymore. I don't know if it's just maturing or accepting and moving past and figuring out what's best for you finally, or I don't know, but that was a really good place and I do miss it very, very much. Even though I almost never drink, it was fantastic working for a brewery, let me just tell you. Even if it was a branch of it that was like a, what do they call it? Not like a pop-up or anything like that. It was stationary. It wasn't going nowhere. It's not a kiosk. It's not a tavern or pub setup, I don't think. Oh, I cannot remember. It's like I've been out of the game for a couple of years now and everything's getting fuzzy. But I do I still get messages and everything from some of the people, and a lot of them see the husband and ask about me and ask when I'm going to be back and stuff still. I mean, I must have made a good impression if after a year from that place, I'm still being asked about and people are wanting me to come back. I figure that says something. One of my favorite parts of working there is, yes, you had to work 24/7. Well, not 24/7 specific, but that includes holidays. You know what I mean? You had to it had to be open all the time. Except for, I think it was like a 8-hour period late at night, it was closed. But we were back open by like, I want to say 3:34 in the morning. And we usually close at the latest the gates, and everyone was leaving at, say, 9 o'clock. Generally. From that job. It also wasn't the 10-hour job, although the 10-4s were pretty freaking nice. 3 days off, like, hell yeah. That's all I can say. Definitely very nice. Hold on one second. Okay, we're going again. Good. I had to double check Audacity. I apologize. Make sure it was keeping up. And I am watching this with you guys, just so you know. I don't have another tab open. I mean, I do have something on the TV that I am paying a partial eye to. I did promise. Well, not really promise, but when I say I'm going to do something, I keep my word. And if I tell someone I'm going to have them somewhere to where I can still keep an eye, I'm going to do it. That's just the way I am. And definitely a lot of mimics. Well, I know on here they're not called mimics, but definitely a lot of them. I don't think I had this many of them on my first one. I wonder if it's because of the update. They added a few, like, extra spawns, or if it's just the way different worlds will say that you can create, playthroughs, however you would like to say it. Maybe there are actual little differences to the rates and stuff. I don't know for sure, but I might have to look into that as well. And if you didn't know, I am a big list taker. I think that is why me and Pure Chaos get along so well. She has all kinds of graphs and notes and this and that, and I have notebooks and basically do the same. It's nice to find someone else who is as organized and as precise. But I am watching along just as if I was playing it for the first time. I'm not going to exaggerate reactions or anything like that, though. Unless I catch something that I did that's really stupid. And I'm pretty sure there's quite a few of them on here. Again, if anyone new is popping in or fast forwarding ahead, this is a little bit different than my usual. I'm basically running commentary and talking while everyone watches, including myself, me play, because I really don't think you guys would have enjoyed 5 hours of the grind. Nothing too exceptional happened or surprising. I think I also slowed down to talk to Caldaris. Make sure those pieces were also pretty easy to read before moving through. Because I think he's a very big part of the game. And I apologize if I go quiet. I am reading as well. It's only the third time. Give me a break. I should have talked to him more, though, I think. Before... You know, before we continue down in the mines, I might have to do a couple of the quests that Adeline wants me to do for fixing and upgrading the town. I need to make a note of that right now, but I think someone swiped my post-it notes. So, and my handy dandy notebook is also not where I thought it was. Oh, here's one. Okay. I knew it was somewhere. Alright. Let's make a note of that. Finish 2 town upgrades before unlocking level 60. There we go. I know this will probably make that stream a little bit longer. And again, I do apologize that I am about 3 days behind where I really should be on this. Actually, today might make 4 if this does not go out today itself. But that is the plan. I just kind of forgot a friend would also be streaming and am trying to work on this while still supporting them. That's like my other stream was very late at night and it was a spur of the moment as I'm trying to go over time frames and how I didn't figure at that point I was going to actually make it out and have my next stream by the update. Like, I knew at that point I had already lost too much time and I didn't want or have the energy really to do back-to-back-to-backs. And plus, trying to also fit in a little gameplay time with the husband and stuff, like, that's important too. We've had a lot of medical appointments and stuff the past week and a half, so it has been really busy and threw things off a bit, which is one reason I don't officially schedule. At some point, I do want to, and then those who watch me will know officially when I will be on, when to catch me, when to ignore me. You know, like, but for the time being, life is chaotic, so there's no guarantee I could keep to a definite at this point in time. And I'm also trying not to interrupt other people, which is why the last one was a spur of the moment. Finally, I was like, I'm not going to stream this game at all on the same day a friend was, because it made more sense to me for her to have it all to herself that day. If that makes sense? And I also wanted to make sure I would be able to be there to enjoy her first time playing and to see what she thought, because if I recall, it was the same person who influenced me to play this game, influenced her to play. And both of us were very happy when she ended up enjoying it. Like, how could you not be when there's something you enjoy so much that you share it with someone that you're friends with, and then it's great when they can say, you know, I like this too. I might not be able to play it with you, but I can play it on my own, kind of alongside you in a way. So you still kind of get to share the experience and everything, and then gossip about this, or I didn't realize that's what was going on, or it changes it, and to me it makes it a lot more fun to play the games. I think we basically, if I am remembering the playthrough correctly, did, I want to say, 3 weeks in game, um, or close to, maybe not a full 3 weeks in game time. Yeah, I think that maths out to about correct, because I know we have 3 Fridays minimum. I think we started on Thursday though, so we'll be missing like 5 days, 6 days, 5, something like that. Just shy of 3 weeks, so. I think I was talking to the hubby there. And I forgot to hit a button for the little dot dots. Yay, Baylor! Oh man, when you get the highest roll you could get, it is beautiful. That is one of the best moments playing Dungeons and Dragons, especially when it's something that shouldn't work. It makes it all the sweeter when it does. Every time I watch this, it also makes me want to play another round of Baldur's Gate 3, which I am so happy. My husband and he offered of his own initiative to play our co-op save again on that game. You don't know how happy that made me. That is still, it's a tie probably between Dragon Age Inquisition and Baldur's Gate 3 as still being my top played, top loved games. Not that I don't love other games, or really like other games, or whatever, but since having purchased and played, those two specifically are two of my absolute top favorites ever. I am story driven with a lot, and whenever I was gifted Dragon Age Inquisition, because it was a gift just like I believe my husband and son both got me Dragon Age Inquisition, and then Baldur's Gate my son bought me as a gift himself. He saved up and everything, and that's a big part probably why that game means so much to me. But also the story and everything. With Dragon Age, I started playing Inquisition and then I stopped because I enjoyed the twists and turns and story and what I was reading, trying to figure out so much that I had to try the first one and the second one. So I went through and I completed the first one, I think it was 3 times, I want to say. And then I got the second Dragon Age. And I played through it 2-3 times as well. Because sometimes you have to try, you got to figure out the right character and class and everything in some games. And some of them let you tweak it a bit. Like in Dragon Age Origins, the first one, you were able to start as a human or start as an elf or start as this. Like, it varied and it would change the storyline a little bit. So sometimes you want to hear the different sides of the story to actually get the full picture of the game. If you're like me, you get very almost down up the rabbit hole. Like, you have to know why. Excuse me. Give me a moment, I'm going to take a drink. But you have to actually know what started this and why is this the way this is. And it's just the way my brain works, I guess. Excuse me. As you can tell, I'm not quite used to actually fully talking for this long. Here in a few, I'm probably going to need to take a 10-15 minute break on speaking. I might have to take another look at the video before I completely post this, and that's okay that you're hearing me think about an edit. I do not mind that at all. It's part of the process. At least in my mind, it's part of the process. And I like to know some of the behind the scenes and to know other people still can make mistakes. I might just leave it in there. As in what I was thinking about cutting out of the video. The only things I've really cut out is not any real gameplay or anything like that. It has just been where I had to pause the game and step away for lengths of time, and instead of making you guys just stare at my inventory box or rank level 19 for 20-30 minutes, I just removed the majority of it and just left like the beginning and originally I was actually playing the game and commenting as I played. I don't know if anyone's still watching this far in to get to hear that, but whenever a lot of life was butting in, I adjusted a few things and I decided the speeding up with how long it was more necessary. So in the original, yes, I was talking to you guys throughout the majority. I think when I finished, this had 4 separate video parts to it. And the last one is the one that, or no, the second to last one, I just played without mic anyway. So I just decided, why don't I just keep that the theme, and then as I was telling Lisette, I was just going to keep music, just have music as the background as she's working the mines and everything, and get it all done, handled, blah. But then I kind of was like, I should at least try to engage. Today is a decent day. I only have a little bit of sharp burning pain, but I'm not using the controller or anything, so that's actually not getting aggravated. Although I want to say one other shout out for my husband. When I was worried that they might not do, because I was on both sides of the fence on doing PT for this problem. I'm worried because I've already done 2 full complete times of it, like not 2 individual times, 2 full 2-month, 3-month sessions, plus one that was extended twice of PT. And then I continued doing my exercises for another 3 months after, until the pain was getting so bad with them, I decided something wasn't right, and my next appointment brought it up to my orthopedic surgeon, which is what led to, because I told him around December's when I quit, and my PT had ended in June. So I did keep on it. I was trying, like, my damnedest, guys. but I'm anxious it ain't gonna do nothing still, and that we're going to end up having to figure out. I forget if there's 3 or 4 options, but they're all surgery after the PT, I think. I'll have to look again and make sure I don't have any facts backwards or crossed, but I'll look into that. But there was, depending on the surgery, there's a chance it'd be a few months minimum before I could play a game again, like touch a controller, which I will let everyone know. That is still a possibility. I just don't know how strong of a possibility at this point. We'll see how PT goes and I can give a better update. But I want to be transparent and upfront. There is that chance. But he commented, I think it was last night to me, or maybe it was a few nights ago, but he reiterated it last night. He told me that they make accessibility controllers for other types of issues for people. Why couldn't we find something that could work for you one-handed, if needed? And let me tell you, that means a lot. That really means a lot, because you've got so many people out there that some people, yes, are trying to make this into a job. Some people are just doing this for fun, as in streaming. Some people are just enjoying having a community of people who like the same things as them. There's all kinds of reasons why people stream. I even said for myself, it's something new that caught my attention to me currently. Not new, I know that, but it's a new thing for me to try that I've never done before, and it's kind of like a self-experiment. And as I said, I'm an introverted person, and I was hoping this also, with having people talk back to me and everything, might help me be better socially in some ways. Because I don't like a lot of the ways I interact with people face to face. Like, I don't do anything wrong or anything per se. I would like to have more confidence, and I'm trying to also build up my confidence and esteem. So this is my way of trying to self-help myself, so to speak. Because you guys have, well, some of you might, but some of you probably not, what it's like to sit here and stare at an OBS record button for a half hour with cold, sweaty hands, taking deep breaths to try to calm yourself, to hit the button just to start. It's very stressful, and not a bad stress, at least not yet. I mean, yes, it's there, but the anxiety and everything, and trying to push through it and being able to, like, at the end of the stream, you guys have no idea how proud I am of myself that I did it, especially when I had almost 500 people watching live. I almost had a panic attack. Like, there was a lot of muting the mic and deep breaths and, oh my goodness, how is this many people watching me? How am I this interesting? You get what I mean? Like, it, and I was so proud at the end of it that I held out, did so well. Poppy and Ashy and so many people, Jordan, Crispy, were so kind. Jessica, Lucy, Noni, like, so kind. And they helped me keep it together, and I felt so much pride that I managed it instead of just freaking out and turning off. Because that thought did cross my mind, I will not lie. One of my thoughts was to just turn it off. Like, in chat, I don't know, I feel in chat I seem a lot more bold and everything. But then speaking to chat, is a whole different feeling, a whole different vibe. At least it feels that way, if that makes any sort of sense. Well, I guess this way I figure the game takes first place, but I might be adjacent to it as being where the attention is. Whereas in chat, the attention's not actually on me, it's on whoever we're watching. So I guess it does make sense in that aspect, that way. But I think it is helping me a bit. And it's letting me get back into touch with my creativity every time I make a thumbnail, every time I'm going through music, every time I'm writing a short little intro like I did to get me started on this tonight. It lets me tap back into my inner Pisces. And I like that. I like writing little scripts and occasionally changing up my voice just to be silly. And working with the programs from my initial sketch to try to get the exact aesthetic and everything that I want. Now, keep in mind, I do not accept full artistic ability, whatever you may want to call it, for every thumbnail and everything. But pretty much all of them have been from a sketch I have started with and made, and then had assistance refining until it was what I saw in my mind's eye. There are a couple of my thumbnails that was art done for me by digital artists oh my goodness, over 10 years ago, when I had characters that I created, my OCs, for different games and different things that I wanted character art to represent them. And I didn't feel that I can sketch. Okay, I am out of practice as all heck. But you get a pretty clear idea, at least, of what I'm trying to represent it. And when it was coming to trying to digitalize it and add the colors from cell shading to just... I'm not as well versed in a lot of that. I tried to learn, I tried to follow tutorials, I had quite a few artists that gave me tips and would explain processes, and that just, it didn't stick, if that makes sense. It's like in a book series I like, there was a description of the fairies. For those who may not know what Fae itself is. But of being able to create something, but it still be lacking. Like, I'm not quite sure how to really put it into words. But kind of like, I would assume also playing an instrument and not getting first seat. Like, kind of adjacent, like you just can't quite get to there, no matter the effort you put in and the practice. Or maybe I had some kind of a block and that didn't allow me to... Yes, I know, I was really bad with the garden here. I kept forgetting it would unplow. Anyway, but it has me trying to actually practice again. For right now, I am using assistance to a point, but it is not fully AI or anything like that. Not completely. Which also, like I said, is part of what makes me so happy with all this. It's kind of like bringing back a little bit of myself that I haven't really utilized or paid much attention to in a few years. After my mom passed, and a little bit after that, my dad got cancer, and thankfully he's still with us and everything. He's a tough old goat, jarhead. But it was like that spark had left for a bit. I don't know if anyone can understand that, but it's like new life is being breathed in, and I'm doing the best I can to make as much of everything I can all me, as much as I can of it. But in another way of transparency, I know some people have certain feelings or may have certain ideas, and I can't take full credit for a lot of it because it was a collaboration, basically. Maybe one day I will be able to, if I cannot reach it myself, do like I did before and fully just commission people. But that is hard too, because sometimes it is expressing the exact detail or expression, or it is not easy. Trying to get a picture from your mind across in complete 3D clarity and stuff. But gosh, I never realized how much I missed using a sketch pad and a pencil. How much I missed pen on paper, and then going from pen on paper to typing it on the laptop to like just all the little bits and pieces. It is so much fun. Sometimes it feels overwhelming, do not get me wrong. I am a perfectionist who is still learning how to perfect in this field of everything. The only place I truly just kind of let it go and just go with what I like is my kitty channel. That one is freeform overall. This is a little different. This takes time and effort and thought and timing as well, scheduling to a point. Like I was trying to say earlier, and I don't think I finished the thought. I do apologize. I am a goldfish, but I've told you all this a few times now. If someone else I know is streaming a specific game, I don't want to interrupt on that day. And also some of them I just plain like to watch, so as well, like, so I don't want to be going at the same time, and I also don't want any of our fellow friends or acquaintances to feel they would have to choose. So again, that's another reason I'm not quite as schedule oriented as I would like to be here, but we will get there. Things are starting to settle down, fall into place, and everything. So things should get easier at some point in the near future. I am hoping to actually be able to be like, okay guys, I'm going to be on this night at this time, or this day at this time, or whatnot. But I also have to take into consideration my husband also is enjoying watching, and I definitely want to try to make it at times when he is at work, because he's allowed while he's doing his job to put on something with his earphones, because he wears those uh, what are they called? Aftershocks? The bone conducting sound things. And he can still hear everything going on around him, but he's got the background noise to help him focus because he's a bit ADHD. So he likes to listen in while he's at work. I only just found out. And you guys have no idea how much that tickles me. My hubby and my son both watching. Like, that's really, really exciting. Because I never asked them to or anything. It's of their own volition. It's just sweet, silent support. Like, he doesn't usually speak. He's at work, mind you. I get that. But I didn't realize, and then I found out, and it, like, actively, and it just really makes me happy, and he supports a lot, you know? And that means a lot. My goodness, my throat is still drying out. We only have a little bit left, though. Don't worry, guys. About a little over half hour left. And then I will be done, I swear. And y'all can breathe a sigh of relief. I will say my husband also pointed out, though, apparently you guys have been very lucky. According to him, I haven't got to the point where my twang has really escaped. Not the forced one that I play around with, mind you, but my actual, I guess I have a little bit, I wouldn't say it's southern, but a little bit of a country twang whenever I get very excited and stuff. Or if I'm very angry, it comes out too. I am one of those Americans, though, that loves accents. I am fascinated by them. I am fascinated by language in general, especially current foreign languages and some dead or near dead languages as well. They just, between them and the culture that attaches to them, I really like just learning things, I guess. But that's always been an area that fascinated me. And then I learned, I am also one of those annoying people, I guess, that when you start hearing an accent, you try to mimicry it. And then I learned that's actually not such a bad thing, even though my husband jokes we're never traveling abroad, because I would probably insult whoever would be of the country that we would go to. They would think I would be mocking, and it is not mocking at all. It's actually, I read, a survival mechanism. People do that to try to belong so that they're not treated different and so forth. It's one of a few reasons. There's a few that I had a psychologist friend explain to me about it, but it's just utterly fascinating. Oh man. So close. I kept getting shocked. So bad. I know I need to be so far away, but it's like my timing was so off on that. With those freaking lantern guys. But so far, the only armor I have is armor I found in the mine. I didn't actually make any yet. Okay, that wasn't too bad. I probably could have cut that pause back a little bit. Most likely I was talking to someone again. As I said, this is the 5-part put together to make one, and oh. And I think a little bit further ahead is somewhere I am looking for specifically. If not, it will be figured out and handled before this is released. But it was on the original video, or at least it should have been. And I'm pretty sure when I watched part of it to check the sound, it was also there. Yeah, we didn't sell much that day. Okay, we're only on... Okay. I wasn't paying attention. It would have been easier if I would have just looked and seen what day it was. We were on Tuesday, so we are still good. That little something I mentioned at the start of this video won't be too far off. A little ways yet, but not too far. Like I said, we've only got maybe 20 minutes left. I also figured with this being a video with any of the reading, as long as you knew there was reading, you could pause if needed to get the rest of the details. I'm excited for the next stream. I won't lie, I actually have a bit of excitement. I have not touched Mistria since the update, as far as my private farm. So you guys can all be happy to know that. Whatever happens after we get to level 80, I want that to be fresh and me and you getting to see it together, you know what I mean? I know you've probably already seen it. We're already a couple of days past, but some of you may not, and we'll get to enjoy it together that way. And I know I am quieting down a little bit. I moved on from my ghost to a little bit of tea. My throat is a little dry and scratchy feeling. That can't be helped though. But apparently I'm gonna have to build up my stamina for anything over 2 hours, or around 2 hours. I'm still surprised I got it this short. I was worried I was going to have to cut some of it instead of doing some of the fast forward. And I know, it's the grind. I know, and I really wish I would have went back and got that big fish, but we were so close. So close. But then after we investigate the mines a little, I will have to get back on track And like I said, I do want to try to get a couple of the town upgrades done, I guess. Which I should have done maybe on the day that we had to wait. No, because we were mining to finish getting the last of the gems we needed. Never mind. There was a reason I did not do that. I just had to stop and think. I love hitting those right back at those guys. The little, like, stone balls they spit at you. It's like baseball. Man, all these blocks. I need to double check my inventory and see if I need to sell any more of them. I know it's only like 2 tessera, I think, per stone, but still, you give 5,000 or 500 that, or 1,000. I can count, I swear. That's at least 500. Half 1,000. That ain't too bad. That's some more seeds, or buying a decent-ish energy heal meal to take with you. Like, it fits. I do think the prices start out a little high, though. Like, I can get some of the higher foods and stuff, but I think at the starting level it would be nice if it was a little tiered somehow. If that makes sense. Like, you could still get whatever, but it's not as expensive. And then have like an upgraded version or something that is more expensive later, like that has maybe a temporary buff or something. Because I know with the kitchen, if we have not unlocked it yet, we will be unlocking it this playthrough, I believe. You can get, sometimes when you craft meals in the kitchen, you can get a buff or multiple different meals with different buffs out of it. Like, I really don't like, I ended up missing that dig spot too. I need to make another chest that is just for like the flowers and stuff too. That might be something I might start a day off stream just to do that and organize a little better and then save it, but not yet because we still have that goal in mind. Almost there. So close. Was I doing silver? Yeah, I needed a little bit more silver ore. I hate the bombs. I always forget that these guys do that. I'm not doing too bad time-wise either. Here shortly, I'll have to start on dinner. So this is actually going to be just about perfect. We are going to have chicken tortilla soup. And it is usually so good. Oh my gosh. But it's one of those that I never seem to write the recipe down when I'm throwing stuff in. So it's not always quite the same. I really should write it down, but usually I'm just on a vibe and winging it and just trying something new. And then it's like, well, what did I use to do this to make it so good? Oh no. Ah, I can't remember. Sapphires. I know what we were after going through here. Oh, and it's so frustrating. From my understanding, from what I've read and everything, sapphires are actually a pain in the butt for this game. But I did find out a little trick, and I don't know if I did it a few minutes ago or not. But before we entered the cave, so I will wait a moment before I bring it up, just to see. Because the day's almost out, and it most likely would start on the next day. If you have stuck around this long, I do appreciate it. I know some people are not much into the videos themselves. They prefer watching it live so they can actually interact. And again, I do, excuse me again. Hopefully I muted that, but if not, well, my apologies. But, I still appreciate the watch, even if it's only for some of this. My husband was talking to me there, I remember that. I got so frustrated. I thought I was going a straight line, and then I look up and nope. But to be honest, let me know what you think about one like this, because this was actually... Remember I said at the start of the stream? Yeah, I'm begging forgiveness here. I left it up for a little bit to make sure the fast forward wouldn't affect too much, and depending on when someone jumped in. One of the minor edits I did to the video. There'll be one more, but let's see. Does anyone have any guesses of what I did or did not do? Please leave them now down in the comments, and let's see who can get them guess right. Maybe it's not hard, so I think definitely someone will pick up on it. And I do include basically another hint, don't worry. Just in case maybe you're new. But if you've watched throughout this video, or at least the start of the video-ish, it shouldn't be hard to pick up on. And at the very end of the stream, towards it, I will... Actually, no. If anyone actually guesses, I'll put it in comment if it's correct, or if no one guesses in a couple of days, we'll say, maybe 3, I'll pin it as a top comment in the comment section. But I was so frustrated when I realized what happened. You guys have no idea. And disappointed. I was disappointed in myself. Man. Freaking sapphires. And I wasn't paying attention because I was laughing at myself. I'm pretty sure the start of this day is where I did it. If you noticed below the mine in the Narrows there, that's what that area is called, the Narrows. Um, there is a rock, and you will daily when it's there like every day. And if you hit it, you are usually, as far as I remember from reading, and the couple of times I've tested it, it's been true. So it might be every time you hit it, you will get at least one sapphire. And I think it's 10 or 20 stone. Something like that. But you get at least one sapphire, which I believe that was how I got that one. But it might have been yesterday when I did it too in game. But it was one of them, and that shows how attentive. Oh! There it is, time's up. Apparently you don't have until the end. So never mind what I said about that. Again, I'm just gonna leave it in the recording. But yes, I forgot Friday night. I was so in the zone. Had almost found what I needed. The last of what I needed. So close. My eye was on the prize and I could see it. I just forgot that that's how I thought I'd put it as a hint. But that is alright. I am perfectly okay with that, and just shows the real time of it. Gives you a little bit of that chaos from the live stream this way. But I think this might be about the end of my chatterboxing. I'm definitely wanting to cough and clear my throat a lot more at this point. So if you will forgive me, I am going to go silent after I thank everyone who has watched for watching, even if it wasn't clear to the end. I understand. If I got you excited about the comments and everything about what was missed in the game, my apologies. That's on me. But I do thank you for joining me, and do let me know if this is acceptable for you, or if you would like to just watch me play and have the music going in the background, but no commentary on occasion if something comes up to where I'm having trouble getting a live stream out or a normal video. Like, it would be nice to see what the community likes. But again, thank you for joining. There's only about 5 minutes left, and I hope you enjoy. Have a fantastic night to everyone, or day. And I will see you hopefully in the next stream here in the next couple of days. Take care.